The snow crunched beneath Officer Ryan Matthews' boots as he spotted three tiny figures huddled in a frozen field. Their legs were tied, blindfolded, and a cardboard sign read, $100 for 3 puppies. The little creatures trembled, eyes wide with fear, too small to understand the cruelty surrounding them. Ryan's heart clenched, and he knelt slowly, speaking softly, trying to calm their whimpers. Each puppy nuzzled his hand cautiously, trust building despite their terror. Compassion surged through him. These innocent lives depended entirely on his actions. In that frozen moment, Ryan knew he had to act. And what he did next would save more than just their lives. The winter wind cut through the empty field, snow crunching beneath Officer Ryan Matthews' boots as he patrolled the outskirts of the city. His eyes caught movement near a frozen patch of grass, and he froze. 3 tiny shapes huddled together, shivering violently, blindfolded and bound with rough ropes. Beside them, a cardboard sign read simply, $100 for 3 puppies. Ryan's heart clenched at the sight. The innocent creatures whimpered, their tiny bodies trembling. Unable to understand the danger surrounding them, he knelt slowly, careful not to startle them, and studied their condition. The puppy's fur was matted, eyes wide with fear, and every muscle tensed in panic. Whoever had left them here had underestimated the consequences of their cruelty. Ryan's jaw tightened, anger and compassion warring within him. These were living beings, vulnerable and innocent, and he knew he had to act fast. The field was isolated, with no one around to witness the scene, but Ryan didn't hesitate. His training and instincts kicked in, guiding him to protect and rescue. He carefully approached, speaking softly, trying to calm the tiny whimpers that echoed in the cold air. Each puppy's gaze met his cautiously, trusting the man who might be their only hope. Ryan's mind raced with questions, but one thing was clear: leaving them here was not an option. He would save them, and nothing else mattered in that frozen, desperate moment. Officer Ryan Matthews crouched beside the trembling puppies, his gloved hands hovering over the rough ropes. The wind whipped across the field, carrying the bitter chill that made the tiny creatures shiver even more. He scanned the area, eyes sharp, searching for anyone who might have left them here or could pose further danger. Every instinct screamed that time was critical, yet he needed to assess the safest way to handle the rescue without causing panic. The puppies whimpered softly, their blindfolded eyes darting nervously. Ryan spoke in calm, reassuring tones, murmuring their names as he gently crouched closer, letting them smell his hands. "It's okay, little ones. You're safe now," he whispered, watching their cautious reactions. Each movement of his hands and voice was measured, every gesture designed to convey security rather than threat. As he considered his next steps, Ryan's mind flashed back to previous rescues, moments where quick decisions had meant life or death. He realized that rushing could frighten the pups further, but hesitation could leave them exposed to the harsh cold or predators. Carefully, he began loosening the ropes, keeping his movements slow and deliberate. With each knot undone, the puppies' trust grew, their whimpers softening to small, tentative whines. Ryan felt a surge of relief. Rescue had begun. He knew the next steps would determine their survival, and every decision mattered. Officer Ryan Matthews worked methodically, his hands steady despite the biting cold. Each puppy was small and fragile, yet their fear was palpable, eyes wide and untrusting. As he gently untied the first, the little creature trembled, body stiff with anxiety. Ryan whispered soothing words, rubbing its back lightly, encouraging it to relax. The motion was slow and deliberate, letting the puppy understand that no harm would come from this stranger in uniform. The second puppy whined as the ropes came loose, but Ryan's soft voice reassured it, his presence calm and authoritative. He cradled the tiny body in his arms, feeling its rapid heartbeat against his chest, knowing how vulnerable these creatures were. The third puppy, the smallest of the group, hesitated at first, retreating slightly, but Ryan leaned forward, keeping his movements non-threatening. "It's okay. You're safe," he murmured. Slowly, trust began to build. Once all 3 were free, Ryan wrapped them in his coat, shielding them from the wind. The puppies nuzzled together, tentative but relieved, shivering less as warmth began to seep into their frozen bodies. Passers-by who had begun to gather whispered among themselves, witnessing the scene. The sight of a trained officer showing such patience and compassion reminded everyone that heroism sometimes comes not from action in battle, but from gentle care and protection of the innocent. Ryan's mind focused on the next step, getting these puppies to safety, warm and fed, before the cold could harm them further, with the 3 trembling puppies safely cradled in his arms. Officer Ryan Matthews scanned the area for clues. The snow-covered field was silent now, but the cardboard sign, $100 for 3 puppies, was a glaring indication of the cruelty behind this act. Ryan's jaw tightened. Someone had thought these innocent lives were merchandise, and he was determined to find them. He began retracing the footprints in the snow, searching for any evidence of the person who had abandoned or sold the puppies. Tire tracks, scuffed snow, and faint impressions led him down a narrow path toward the main road. Each clue added to the story, piecing together the path of negligence and exploitation. Ryan called dispatch, requesting backup and alerting nearby animal control units. His voice was calm, authoritative, but urgency underlined every word. The puppies whined softly, sensing his tension, and he murmured, "We'll make sure you're safe. I promise." Neighbors who had begun to notice the commotion came forward with snippets of information. Someone had seen a person leaving the puppies, heading toward a nearby alley. Ryan's mind raced with possibilities, formulating a plan to locate the responsible party quickly. He knew time was critical. The cold had already threatened the pup's survival, and whoever was behind this needed to be held accountable. Every step, every observation was deliberate. The puppies were safe for the moment, but justice demanded action, and Ryan was ready to see it through, determined to protect the innocent and punish the negligent. Officer Ryan Matthews carefully carried the 3 puppies to his patrol car. Their small bodies nestled against his chest for warmth. He could feel their trembling slowly easing as he whispered soft reassurances. "You're safe now," he said gently. "No one's going to hurt you anymore." Each tiny heartbeat pressed against his hands, a fragile reminder of how vulnerable these innocent lives had been. The puppies were taken to the local animal shelter, where a vet quickly examined them. Their fur was matted, small cuts visible, and their bellies rumbling from hunger. Ryan stayed close, speaking calmly and stroking their heads, allowing them to sense security amidst the sterile environment. As the vet administered warmth and nourishment, the puppies began to relax, their whines softening into tentative purrs and soft nuzzles. Staff at the shelter were impressed with Ryan's patience and attentiveness. The bond between officer and rescued animals was evident, a display of compassion that transcended duty. He carefully documented the condition of the pups and shared the story with his colleagues to raise awareness about illegal sales and neglect that by the end of the day. The puppies had been fed, warmed, and wrapped in cozy blankets. They slept together, exhausted but safe, their innocent eyes slowly closing. Ryan watched them, satisfaction swelling in his chest, knowing that for the first time, these tiny lives were truly protected. Months passed, and the 3 puppies had grown stronger, healthier, and more trusting. Officer Ryan Matthews visited them regularly at the shelter, watching as they played together, tails wagging, innocence restored. Each puppy had flourished under the care of compassionate staff, yet the bond with Ryan remained unmistakable. His gentle voice and steady presence had left a lasting impression, teaching them that humans could also be protectors. The story of the rescue spread quickly through the town. Social media posts highlighted Ryan's actions, inspiring neighbors, veterans, and animal lovers alike. Donations for the shelter increased, volunteers offered their time, and community members shared the story, emphasizing the importance of compassion and responsibility toward all creatures. People admired the courage and patience it took to save these innocent lives, turning a local tragedy into a beacon of hope. Eventually, the puppies were adopted into loving homes, but Ryan remained a guiding figure in their lives. Children who visited the shelter were taught about the value of empathy, the need to protect the vulnerable, and the power of kindness in action. Ryan often paused to watch the puppies, now thriving, and whispered softly, "You were worth every second, every decision." Narration. Sometimes the smallest lives teach the greatest lessons about compassion, responsibility, and the courage it takes to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The camera pans out on Ryan leaving the shelter, a quiet hero who had changed lives with nothing more than care, courage, and heart.